Hello, fantabulous Facebook viewers. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing spectacular. We are now Sunday, oh my goodness, and May is just about over. So May was supposed to is our rock our weight loss. Let's rock our weight loss out for this month. So just checking in to see how you guys are all doing. If you can, post below any victories, any successes with how your weight loss and health journey is going so far with rocking out our weight loss. Any pounds or inches lost. Maybe you were able to resist some temptation. Maybe you're doing better with your grocery shopping, which today I'm going to give you some tips on that as well. Now, if you're new to my broadcast, never seen me before, please put in the comment section new. Would love to know who you are and where you're from. And also, if you're watching the replay, please do the same. I do check back on my comments. Now, if you're not familiar with me, I am Pamela Pedrick, registered nurse, nutrition consultant, and health and wellness coach for weight loss. All right, so for today's topic, let's have some success with grocery shopping, all right? Let's be label savvy. I don't know about you, but we have to come to the part where we have to be label savvy. In today's day and age, you just have to. Years ago, you used to be able to purchase what you wanted without being too concerned with what's actually in your food because it was a little bit more closer to the garden than closer to not, farther away from the garden, so to speak. But today we do need to be label savvy because there are just so many fillers, so many sugars, so many fat grams that sometimes you're not necessarily aware of. And so I'm going to show you how to read your label today. So I actually have some things with me today. Let me get on my readers. Okay, because some of these ingredient labels are so small. You got to get your readers on, right, to read? I know. I just got to laugh at myself because that looks so funny to me. So even with being label savvy with your supplements, now just another tip for you. Today's day and age, our soil is so depleted that you do need to supplement with some good vitamins, okay? So today I'm going to show you this. I have a Kind bar. These are one of my favorites. This is actually maple glazed pecan and sea salt. This is labeled as low glycemic and it's non-GMO, which is why I love the Kind bars. They're so good. Now, I don't know if you can see, it's going to be a little bit backwards, unfortunately. I have an Android. iPhone's really coming up with a lot of technology where you can actually reverse it so you can see it in actually how it's supposed to be. Android's a little slow with Facebook Live with doing that. But if you can see, here's my label. I know it's so small. That's why I have to have my readers on. Now, at the top, you'll see it says nutrition facts, and it'll give you a little graph, so to speak, where it has your total fats, your calories, your cholesterol, your protein, any sugars. Now, also to the right-hand side of it is going to be your percent daily value as far as how much percent is in there. So I got to take these off, it's a little hard to see. How much percent daily value of that fat or your calories or your protein are actually in the bar. Okay, now, what you want to first look up is your serving size, okay? Because it's not necessarily going to be your full bar. And this is in particular if you want to treat yourself and get like a gallon of ice cream or a half gallon of ice cream, check on the serving size. Because like for instance, Ben & Jerry ice cream, the serving size is not the little pints. It's actually divided into, I believe, 4 serving sizes. haven't had Ben & Jerry's ice cream recently, which is actually a good thing. So check on your serving sizes because that'll let you know exactly how much. It's not going to necessarily be the full bar. It might be half a bar. It might be a cup. It might be a half a cup. Because sometimes you'll look at it and be like, wow, that serving size is really small. And if you end up eating the whole of it, you're going to be eating a lot of fat and a lot of calories. So check your serving sizes first, okay? Because it might be a little smaller serving size than what you think it'll be. The second thing is your total fat. It's going to be how much fat is in this total bar, how many calories are in the total bar, how much protein. And as I said, to the right of each protein calorie, it'll actually have your percent daily value. Now, it will have a footnote. It's usually at the bottom. If not, it's somewhere in here where it'll actually say how many calories they're basing this off on. For instance, some foods, even though it has a percent daily value, is basing off of a 2,000 calorie diet. So if you're choosing to consume less calories, this might actually be a lot more calories and fat grams than you want to consume for the day, because it might put you over your calorie count for the day. So be mindful of looking for what the percent calories they're basing that percent daily value on. All right, so that's a big thing. Making sure you're reading this area here and finding out what your serving size is first. Second thing is whenever they list their ingredients, whatever is listed first It's all by volume. That means that whatever's listed first, that is what is mostly in your food item. So for instance, for this one, the first ingredient listed is pecans, which is actually good because, hey, it's labeled as a maple glazed pecan and sea salt, right? So you want it to be what it says it is. Some things have a lot of fillers first. Some things actually have sugar as the first ingredient. So you know that that food item that you're looking at has a lot of sugar. So first is labeled as pecan, second is almonds. So almonds listed as a second ingredient. That means that the second most in quantity is going to be your almonds in this bar. Now, whenever they list sugars, forgot to make a note in this area. Remember, I said look at your serving sizes and then your percent daily value. Whenever they list sugars, they just list it all the sugars that are in that bar. They're not describing whether it's cane sugar or if it's going to be high fructose corn syrup or dextrose, or I mean, there's lots of different sugars, some healthy and some not so healthy for you. So that just tells you how many sugars are in here, how many grams of sugars. What's going to tell you what type of sugar it is going to be listed in your ingredients. Read through the whole ingredient label because you might see dehydrated cane juice, which is good. That's not going to, be like your white sugar. It actually has some nutritional value to it, dehydrated cane juice. But further along the way, it might have high fructose corn syrup, it might have dextrose, and it might have all the list of all these other different types of sugars. So you have to be mindful of reading through the whole ingredient list. Unfortunately, that's just the day and age we live in now. You got to be mindful. You got to read through your labels if you're not familiar with that food item. All right, so you're reading the first ingredient. That's the most in quantity for that food item. So that you know for this one in particular, it's got pecans. I have another this is one of my meal replacement protein bars. So it does the same thing. Now, whereas this bar had it listed to the right of the percent daily value, some food items will actually have it right after it because it's listed long way. So you got to look at it that way. But actually, right by the side of it, it'll have your percent daily value for your calories, for your fat grams, for your protein. So for this one, my first ingredient is protein blend. And in parentheses, it actually has listed every single part of protein that is in their protein blend, which is kind of good because it's a high protein bar, so I want protein to be within the first 3 ingredients listed on this label. And then it also has cane sugar, which cane sugar is a better alternative rather than your white sugar or your high fructose corn syrup. And it has listed chocolate coating. Same thing with any of your other meal replacement bars, your high protein bars, and even your chocolate. Like if you have some chocolate covered almonds, if you want to try to treat yourself, read what they're listed as their chocolate covered coating because you might find some additional things in it that you might not want. Excuse me, gotta take a drink here. Don't forget your liter water bottles. All right, so then so don't forget reading your footnote as far as what it's based on, what percent of what calorie diet, because it might be a 2,000 calorie diet, it might be a 1,500 calorie diet, and if you're trying to consume less calories than that, then you're going to end up, if you actually eat the whole bar, eating more calories and more fat grams than what you're potentially going for. I personally, this is just me, I personally don't look at what, how many calories for the percent daily value that they're basing off of because I total everything. So if I know that there's so many grams of sugar in that bar or so many calories, I would either choose to eat the whole bar or maybe half of it to save me all my calories and fat grams. So just trying to be label savvy, read your labels, even on your vitamins if you choose to, like I said, supplement. You have to supplement nowadays. So with your vitamins, it'll have listed active ingredients, what is actually in there as far as your vitamins and minerals. And at the bottom, it'll have other ingredients or inactive ingredients. Now, you don't want this other ingredients or inactive ingredients to be long because that lets you know that there's a lot of fillers in it. Some type of inactive ingredients or other ingredients that may be listed are, for instance, if it is a capsule form, it'll list the ingredients that make up that capsule, which is fine. But then it might list other ingredients in there that you might necessarily not want. My go-to thing that I always look at is I want the shortest list of any active ingredients or other ingredients as possible. So if I have a choice between 2 different things, and I say, okay, basically they all have the same thing in it as far as your active ingredients, it's all looking good. But if one has more inactive ingredients than the other, then I choose to do the one that has the less inactive ingredients. Excuse me. Allergies, are really bad. Now, when you go grocery shopping, we all know, or you should know, that you want to focus on the outside. Go on your perimeters, because that's where it's going to be your fresh fruits and vegetables and the foods that are less processed for you. Excuse me. Allergies. So you want to start outside and work your way all around the perimeter. What's going to be in the middle are the ones where you're going to need to focus more on your labels and looking at those labels, making sure that what's listed as on the outside is what's actually in there. Just to give you a little example, it's not human related, but for cat food, for instance, if it says it's salmon, I want salmon to be either the first or second ingredient in the cat food and not byproduct, so to speak. Same thing for humans. If it's salmon, you want salmon to be the first ingredient and not a byproduct or a sugar or a filler. So I hope you found this helpful today. If you have, please share or tag someone in the comment section below. If you have any questions regarding this, you can either comment below or give me a private message. Once again, focus on, look at your serving sizes, because that's going to be very important, especially if there are like 4 servings in it and you have this little bar or you have a smaller food container. Looking at your calories and your fat grams, because, for instance, if this bar were to say it's 2 serving sizes and I choose to eat the whole bar, that means whatever is listed here as far as calories is by 1 serving. They're not going to list it. This, because it is a whole bar, is a serving size, I can know that when I eat this whole bar, I'm going to be eating 17 grams of fat total. Now, if it were to say 2 serving sizes, I would have to multiply that 17 by 2, because if I choose to eat the whole, which is 2 servings, I would have over 30 grams of fat that I've eaten. This is very helpful. I mean, coming up with Memorial Day, you're going to have some desserts to choose from, maybe some ice cream. Like I said, if you choose Ben & Jerry's, that's about 4 servings in there. So even though it might have 14 grams of fat, you got to multiply that by 4, but it's either 2 or 4 if you choose to eat the whole thing of ice cream, which is a lot, right? It's a lot. So make sure that you're looking at your serving sizes on your food item, checking your ingredients. Remember, the first ingredient that's listed on the food label is going to be what's the most in quantity for that food item. And then checking they might have other ingredients listed or allergen sources as well, which I forgot to tell you about that. So if you have a nut allergy, they'll list it, and it's not necessarily the nuts that are in here. They might have manufactured it in a facility that manufactured other nuts. So they'll give you your allergen information as well. All right. So I hope you found this helpful. If so, please tag someone or share it with someone. And for more tips and motivation on how you can lose weight, look great, and live a healthy lifestyle, don't forget, visit my website at PamelaPedrick.net. I also have 2 links on my blog post. It's a blog post about 3 healthy foods to avoid. Towards the end, I have a couple of links. One is for the American Heart Association, and one is for the FDA. That'll give you more details on how you can be label savvy. I just went through the basics today, but it actually gives you step by step of what it means, what each part of the food label means, and so that you can make better and healthier choices. To your health, and have a great day, everyone.